Hello everyone, we are back with another video on kinematics. So what we did in the previous one, we studied about position time graph and position time graph for relative velocity. And what we are doing in this video we will study about velocity time graph. Now what you should be knowing, what is acceleration? It is velocity upon time. The slope of a position time graphs the velocity of an object, that is speed is equals to slope of position time graph is equals to tan theta. The first equation of motion, which is v equal to u plus at, second equation of motion, which is s is equal to ut plus half at square, and the third equation of motion, which is v square minus u square is equals to 2as. Velocity time graph. The acceleration of an object can be represented by a velocity time graph. The slope of a velocity time graph gives the acceleration of the body. So I have this graph on which on y-axis I have taken the velocity, on x-axis I have taken the time. Now at time t1 the velocity is v1, at time t2 the velocity is v2. I have marked the points A, B and C. Now we know acceleration is equals to velocity upon time. Now if I want to find the slope, that will be equal to velocity is v2 minus v1 upon time is t2 minus t1. Now from the figure I can say v2 minus v1 is equal to cb and t2 minus t1 is equals to ba, which is equal to tan theta if I go in the trigonometry form. So can I say acceleration is equals to slope of the velocity time graph is equals to tan theta. Now from the velocity time graph I can find out the distance covered by the body. As you can see, I have marked the points. Now velocity at t1 is v1 and the velocity at t2 is v2. Now at t1 I have represented the velocity by ap and at t2 I have represented the velocity by cd. Now what will be the area of the trapezium? Which trapezium I am talking about? PACD. That will be equal to half sum of parallel sides, which are AP and CD, into the perpendicular distance, that is PD. Now AP is V1, CD is V2 and PD is T2 minus T1. Here you can say this is velocity, that's why meter per second, this is time, that's why it's second. So what I get? I get half V1 plus V2 into T2 minus T1 meters. If it is in meters, that means it is the distance covered. So what can I say? That the distance covered is equal to area covered under velocity time graph. Now we will use the velocity time graph to study the different cases of an object moving with constant velocity, acceleration, deceleration and all that. So the first scenario is object moving with a constant velocity. So let us consider a car moving with a constant velocity of 20 meter per second and then we tabulate it. So when the time is 0, its velocity is 20, time is 1 second 20, 2 seconds 20, 3 seconds 20, 4 seconds 20. And now we will plot it on the VT graph and what we get? It is a straight line parallel to time axis. So as it is clear from the graph and the values that the velocity of the body is not changing with change in time, that means the body is moving with a constant velocity and its acceleration is 0. Now acceleration is equals to slope of this, yes, and that will be equal to 20 minus 20 upon 2 minus 1, which is equal to 0 meter per second square. We can also find out the distance covered by the body. Now distance is equals to area of the shaded part, which is equal to 20 into 2 minus 1, which is equal to 20 meters. Let's move to case 2, object moving in positive direction with positive acceleration. So consider a car starting from rest and accelerating in the positive direction, that is in the straight line in which we are doing the observation. The following table shows the velocity of the car at different times. So when time is 0, velocity is 0. When time is 1, velocity 5, 2, 10, 3, 15, 4, 20, and 5, 25. Let us plot this on the graph. And what we get? We get a straight line. So as the graph is a straight line, it means that the car is moving in positive direction with a positive uniform acceleration, and the slope will give the value of acceleration. So the first slope is equal to 10 minus 5 upon 2 minus 1, which gives 5 meter per second square. The second slope, it will be equal to 20 minus 10 upon 4 minus 2. That will again give me 5 meter per second square. Case 3. Object moving in negative direction with negative acceleration. So consider a car accelerating on a straight road in an opposite direction as compared to its original direction of motion. Now we will tabulate it. So when time is 0, it's minus 5, 1, minus 10, 2, minus 15, 3, minus 20, 4, minus 25, 5, minus 30. Okay, let us plot this on a graph. Now, from the graph, it is clear that the acceleration of the body is decreasing with time, but in opposite direction. Again, the slope of the graph will give the value of acceleration. Slope 1 is final position is minus of 15, initial is minus 10, so minus 15 minus of 10 upon 2 minus 1, that will give me minus 5 meter per second square. Slope 2 is minus 25 minus of 15 upon 4 minus 2. It again gives me 5 meter per second square. Let us do the fourth part, which is object moving with negative acceleration that changes direction. So consider a car moving in positive direction with decreasing velocity till time t, and turning back and moving with the same negative acceleration. There is a table for that. So time is 0, velocity is 15, time is 1 second, velocity reduces to 10, 2 seconds 5, 3 seconds 0, 4 seconds minus 5. That means it changed the direction. Time 5 seconds, it's minus of 10 meter per second. Let us plot a graph. Yes, we have plotted the graph. We have joined the dots. Now it is clear from the graph that the acceleration of the body is decreasing with time from t equal to 0 to t equal to 3 seconds, but then it increases in the opposite direction. Let us find out the acceleration from the slope 1. That will be equal to 5 minus 10 upon 2 minus 1, which will give me minus of 5 meter per second square. Let us find slope 2, which is equal to minus 10 minus of minus 5 upon 5 minus 4 is equals to minus 5 meter per second square. Now here this minus sign is for the direction. Now, distance from velocity time graph. So consider a car moving with a constant velocity of 20 meter per second, and we have the velocity of the car at different times. As you can see that the velocity remains 20 itself. A graph is plotted for the same. Now, what is the velocity at t equal to 1 second? It is 20. That is equal to AB. Now velocity at 4 seconds is again 20, which is equal to CD. Okay, the shaded part is a rectangle. So what is the area of the rectangle ABCD? It is equal to AB into AD, which is 20 into 3, that is 60 meter. So the distance covered is equal to area under VT graph. Let us discuss the case of free fall. So what is our assumption? It is that the motion is in y direction, or more accurately minus of y direction, as we choose the upward direction as positive and acceleration due to gravity is always acting downward, so we will take that as negative. Although you can take positive also and you can plot the graphs accordingly, it will be the same kind of thing. The first one is position time graph. According to our assumption, what we take, the body starts from rest. That's why u is equals to 0 and acceleration is minus 9.8 according to our assumption part. So what we get, x is equals to minus of 4.9 t square. Now let us take values and plot it. And you can see the graph is a parabola. As I said, you can take the positive aspect, take plus 9.8, plot the graph, it will be somewhere like this. Let's move to the next velocity time graph. V equal to u plus at, u is 0, a is minus 9.8, so we get v is equals to minus of 9.8 t. Now we have taken different values and we have plotted it. What we get? We get a straight line. Yes, that means constant acceleration. Now acceleration time graph. Now acceleration due to gravity is constant and is independent of time. So it doesn't matter. It is always having the value 9.8 and that gives a straight line. So let us do a few examples. Question number 1. As soon as a car just starts from rest and in a certain direction a bike moving with a uniform speed overtakes the car, their velocity time graphs are shown. Calculate the difference between the distance traveled by the car and the bike in 15 seconds, the time when the car will catch up the bike, and the distance of the car and the bike from the starting point at that instant. Okay, so what is the distance traveled by the bike in 15 seconds? That is equal to area of the rectangle OCFE, which is equal to OC into FC, which is 15 into 30, that is 450 meter. Now, what is the distance traveled by the car in 15 seconds? It is equal to area of triangle OCA, that is equal to half into OC into AC, that is 0.5 into 15 into 45, and that gives 337.5 meters. So the difference is the distance traveled by the bike minus the distance traveled by the car, which is equal to 450 minus 337.5, and that gives 112.5 meters. Let us continue the question further. We have to find the time when the car will catch up with the bike. Mind you, they will not catch up at 10. At 10, the car had the same velocity as the bike. They are not meeting one another. So let us suppose that the car catch up with the bike after time t seconds from start, so that the distance traveled by them in time t is equal. Now what is the distance traveled by the car? That is equal to area of this triangle, that is half into 15 into 45 plus 45 into t minus 15, because till 15 seconds the car wasn't able to catch the bike. It is only after 15 seconds. That's why we have taken t minus of 15. Now what is the distance traveled by the bike? That is equal to 30 into t, because its velocity is constant. As we have said that we have to equate them, and on solving we get t is equals to 22.5 second. That means the car will catch up with the bike at t is equals to 22.5 seconds. Now the third part, the distance traveled by the car or the bike from the starting point at that instant, that is at 22.5 seconds, it is equal to 30 into t, or you can put t here also in this equation, you will get the same answer. This becomes easier, that's why I have done that. So what we get, 675 meters. Let's move to question number 2. The speed time graph of a particle moving along a fixed direction is shown in the figure. Obtain the distance traveled by the particle between t equal to 0 seconds to t equal to 10 seconds and t equal to 2 seconds to t equal to 6 seconds. What is the average speed of the particle over these two intervals? So the distance traveled in 0 to 10 seconds is equals to area of this triangle, that is half into altitude is 12 minus 0 and the time part or base is 10 minus 0. So we get 60 meters. Average speed is total distance by total time. Total distance is 60. Total time is 10. That's why it is 6 meter per second. Let's do the second part. Distance traveled in 2 to 6 seconds. So first of all, let us find the distance traveled in 2 to 5 seconds. Now what is the acceleration? The acceleration is equal to OA, which is equal to 12 by 5, that is 2.4. Whether you find from 2 to 5, 1 to 5, 3 to 5, 4 to 5, the acceleration is uniform. That's why it is 2.4. Now what is the velocity as 2 seconds from the start? V equal to u plus at. So u is 0 because initially it was at rest. Okay. A is 2.4 into 2 seconds, that is 4.8 meter per second. Now what is the distance? Distance is s is equal to ut plus half at square, which will give me 4.8 into 3, because after 2 seconds the initial velocity is 4.8, that's why, and the time is next 3 seconds, that's why 3 and plus half into 2.4 into 3 square is 9. That gives me S1 is equal to 25.2 meters. Now what is the distance traveled in 5 to 6 seconds? Now here it is deaccelerating, so acceleration during AC, that will be equal to minus 12.5 upon 5, that is minus of 2.4 meter per second square. Now distance is equal to ut plus half at square. Now what was the velocity? The velocity initially is 12 here because it is moving, so 12 into 1 plus half into minus of 2.4 into 1, that gives S2 is equals to 10.8 meter. So what is the total distance traveled in 2 to 6 seconds? That is equal to S1 plus S2, that is 25.2 plus 10.8, that gives 36 meter. Average speed is total distance upon total time, that is 36 by 4, that is equal to 9 meter per second. Let's move to example number 3. A ball is dropped from a height of 90 meter on a floor. At each collision with the floor, the ball loses 1/10 of its speed. Plot the speed time graph of its motion between t equal to 0 to t equal to 12 seconds. Now let's take the first case. Time taken by the ball to fall through a height of 90 meter. So the equation is S is equal to ut plus half at square. Distance is 90. The ball is moving downward. That's why GA is plus 9.8. Now on solving, we get t is equal to 4.3 seconds. Now V equal to u plus at. So what is the velocity when the ball was coming down? 42 meter per second. So from 0 to 4.3 seconds, we can see that V is directly proportional to t. As you can see, V is equals to 0 plus 9.8. So that means V is directly proportional to t. Now, so that means it's a straight line. Yes. So 4.3 seconds, the velocity is 42. So in this duration 0 to 4.3 seconds, the speed increases linearly with time during the downward motion of the ball, and its Vt variation is a straight line OP. So this is the downward motion. Now let us continue further. Let us take the second case, that is at the first collision. What is given in the question? That at each collision with the floor, the ball loses 1/10 of its speed. So what is the speed lost by the ball? 1/10 of 42, that is 4.2. So what is the rebound speed of the ball? Which is 42 minus 4.2, that is 37.8 meter per second. So for the upward motion, that moving to the highest point, we will use the equation v equal to u plus at. The final position will give the velocity as 0 because at the highest point the velocity is 0, and then initial was 37.8 and it's going upward, that's why minus of 9.8. This gives me t is equals to 3.9 seconds. So the ball reaches highest point again after, previously it was 4.3 seconds and then plus 3.9, that is after 8.2 seconds from the start. We have plotted with the red line. We have put the value as 37.8 and time as 8.2 seconds. This is the upward motion. Now the third case, at second collision. Now as the time of ascent is equal to the time of descent, the ball takes 3.9 seconds to strike back on the floor for the second time. So what is the total time? 8.2 plus 3.9, that gives 12.1 seconds. So this is again the downward motion, and the question was for t equal to 0 to t equal to 12 seconds. Now is the time to recapitulate. So what we have studied, that the slope of a velocity time graph is the acceleration of the body. Slope is equals to acceleration is equal to tan theta. Velocity time graph, for constant velocity it's a straight line parallel to time axis. For positive direction, positive acceleration, it is a straight line. Negative direction, negative acceleration, it is straight line in the fourth quadrant. And then the fourth case, and that we know that the distance covered is equal to area under VT graph. Now there are a few questions, don't worry, there are only 3 questions. I will suggest you to try these questions on your own. Pause the video, try them, and then play it again to check your answers. Question number 1, suggest a suitable physical situation for each of the following graphs. Okay, let us interpret it. Now you can see the sign of velocity is changing and the magnitude decreases with the passage of time. The magnitude is also decreasing. So we can say a ball is dropped on a hard floor from a height. It strikes the floor with some velocity, then rebounds, the velocity decreases, this continues and it comes to rest. Okay, the second one. So initially the body is moving with a certain uniform velocity because it's acceleration time graph. The acceleration increases for a short interval of time and then again drops to 0. The body again starts moving with the same constant velocity. Example is a hammer moving with a uniform velocity strikes a nail. So when it strikes, the acceleration increases, then it decreases, and then it's uniform. Question number 2, look at the graphs carefully and state with reason which of these cannot possibly represent one-dimensional motion. Okay, so the first one. Okay, this is velocity time graph. This is not possible as a one-dimensional because a particle can never have two values of velocity at the same instant of time. Here one is positive, one is negative. How can you have that? Not possible. Now let's take the second case. This is again not possible because speed, being a scalar quantity, cannot be negative. Okay, let's move to the third question. Figure gives a speed time graph of a particle in motion along a constant direction. 3 equal intervals of time are shown. In which interval is the average acceleration greatest in magnitude? In which interval is the average speed greatest? Choosing the positive direction as the constant direction of motion, give the sign of V, A, and A in the 3 intervals. What are the accelerations at the point A, B, C, and D? Now the average acceleration is greatest in interval 2 because here the slope is maximum. When we compare the slope in 1, 2, and 3, it's obvious the slope is maximum in the second case. That's why the average acceleration is more, and the average speed is greatest in the third one. It is clearly visible that the speed is more here as the height of curve is maximum in 3. Now V is positive in all the 3 intervals and A is positive in 1 and 3 and negative in interval 2. Okay. and A is equal to 0 at A, B, C and D. So we have taken the interval 1, so velocity is positive, acceleration is positive, 2, a velocity positive because it's a scalar quantity, acceleration is negative because the slope is negative. The third interval, velocity is positive, acceleration is 0 because there is no change in velocity, slope is equals to 0. As point A, B, C, A, D are all parallel to the time axis, so the slope is 0 at these points, hence the acceleration is 0 at these points. I hope you have understood all the questions. Do watch the next video for the next topic. Thank you so much.